Hey everyone, Kevin here, and welcome back to my channel. Now, the second video I ever made on YouTube was on the idea of are there too many instructional designers? With that video looking very dated when placed side by side with what I make now, and with the reality that ID has become an even trickier field since then, I felt the time right to refresh my thoughts on that because they've shifted somewhat. A lot has changed in the industry since then, and a very frank conversation needs to be had about the state we're in right now, so the time to talk about it is quite right at the moment. But this all begs the question: have my perspectives changed on the notion that ID is and isn't saturated? Well, no. But my answer to why that is has changed. In the original, like 2 minute video, I basically said that every company needs training, so there will always be a need for instructional designers, which on the surface still rings true. The issue is that now, following COVID and the mass layoffs in the tech, L&D, sales, and recruiting industries alone, there are fewer jobs than ever before, and what companies want have shifted. For one, they want to save as much money as possible and are beginning to use several AI tools to replace a lot of the low level ID work, like making job aids, PowerPoints, and short company videos. This is also why it's now becoming very common for job postings to be asking for IDs with AI knowledge. Now, I think AI is never going to completely replace the role of an ID, which I also made a video about a while back, because you need a real person to check the accuracy of what AI produces and who really knows the theories and practices behind effective learning. But AI is becoming more important by the day as a way to make processes more efficient, which is exactly what cash strapped companies dealing with soaring interest rates and a de facto recession are interested in right now. You know, the good old return on investment. This is also why companies are seriously unicorn hunting and mainly only filling senior level positions too, rather than lower level ones that new IDs need to break into the field, or ones who are just lacking skills needed to grow. I learned a lot in my first couple of roles that I was never going to gain from just making a bunch of portfolio projects on my own. So, as Tim Slade has said many times, what we really have is a saturated field of underqualified IDs, though it's important to note that I differ from him on the why that is. For Tim, it's the most people transitioning into the field haven't put in the work to sell themselves as instructional designers, which, though true, I think oversimplifies the problem a bit. As I just said, I think it more has to do with the reality that those newer IDs just cannot find work because of how bad the economy is and can't gain real practical experience because of it. Again, I've been out of work now for 8 months, and I freely admit that I am not a senior ID who has been doing this for years and knows everything in the field. I am totally still learning too, as is everyone in the learning and development field. Plus, no one really knows what they're doing all the time anyway. We all figure it out as we go along, but if we learn what we can when we can, we should be able to find work, right? Not now, no. The job market is in shambles and companies aren't hiring instructional designers. Again, choosing to hire only senior level people who have unicorn type experience and everything. Plus, training and development teams are frequently the first to get cut in mass layoffs because they think SMEs can do all that work for them, which just isn't the case since there's a big difference in knowing your material and creating effective training and learning experiences with it. So I've been rambling a bit at this point, but it's a complicated thing to discuss with many different facets. I still recommend ID as a great field for people who are yearning for more creativity in their work and who are willing to put forth the effort to learn what they need to. But the fact of the matter is that the field, which one could already claim was a bit saturated in the first place, is more cluttered than ever due to our worsening economic situation. I'll be freely honest to all my listeners right now by saying that I've become desperate enough to consider leaving the industry because I can't pay bills or provide for my family due to how bad the competition is for these few roles. Something I really don't want to do because I love being an ID, but I also need to eat and have running water. There's a really fine line here, and I need to make sure you all are aware of how rough things are right now. The field is hurting, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that for anyone. But as always, I'm here to lend an ear and helping hand with that wherever I can. So please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content and my thoughts on that. But for now, I'll see you in the next video.